All right. So no one listened to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. And second thing is I'm just trying to see if I understand this correctly. So my co-host sent me a text message today and said that the Supreme Court ruled that Texas is not allowed to enforce their border. And the reality behind that is yes, that is the correct answer. But that's not what occurred anyway when it came to today and the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court lifted a stay on Texas SB4, which is again their ability to arrest people and prosecute them for illegally entering the U.S. being illegal aliens in Texas. Now, they should not be allowed to do that because that would violate this thing called the Supremacy Clause. And the reason why you want the Supremacy Clause, which is there's certain things that the United States central government should have the ability to do, is because you don't want certain things like the Toledo War, where Ohio and Michigan were able to declare war on each other and go fight over a border. That's why you don't want the states to be able to enforce certain things like print their own money and make their own treaties. Now, states do have a limited ability to enforce their borders, like agricultural, like checkpoints. Those things occur. They should be able to do those things. I'm not disputing that. But overall, the Supremacy Clause allows them to do certain things like, enforce the southern border because it's, the supremacy of the United States of their own border. It is not Texas's border, it is the United States. And again, if the United States is some type of like corporation, you have to have an overall entity that is able to do the larger things that the corporation is constructed to do. Not that the United States is literally a corporation, but that's a different conversation. But anyways, with the Supremacy Clause, like that's why you need to have the Supremacy Clause. The problem that's going on, and I bring this up, and you can see, even though this is the Biden administration, it's a political entity that makes up the federal government because, we have quote unquote decided to vote for the Biden administration. The Justice Department has filed their lawsuit against Texas SB4 based off the Supremacy Clause. So, right, they are correct. The federal government has the supremacy to enforce the southern border and immigration policy. That's why they were democratically elected to run the country. Well, they weren't democratically elected. They won based off the Electoral College. Again, we're not a democracy. But in this case, like they are correct that the Biden administration, the executive branch has supremacy to do certain things. That's why they're there, right? And again, the actual conversations that's being had, Texas has declared an invasion at their border. They have told the Biden administration, the executive branch, you are not doing your fucking job. So therefore, we're going to have to do it for you. Now, the problem behind all of this comes back to the good old Civil War that, you have those morons that are like, hey, it wasn't fought over states' rights. It was fought over slavery. Okay, when you don't have the ability to renegotiate a contract, you are a slave. You have become a tax slave of the federal government. You no longer have the ability to renegotiate. The states no longer have the ability to renegotiate the contract with the federal government that has supremacy clause over certain things. You are no longer allowed to leave. Oh yeah, it wasn't fought over slavery. It was fought over states' rights. No, it's definitely fought over the fact that you can no longer renegotiate your standing with the federal government. If you don't like something, you can no longer leave if you're a state. That's what occurred. So in this case, Texas is saying, do your fucking job. And the Biden administration is like, no. So Texas went and did something illegal to kind of try and solve the problem because the other options besides passing an unconstitutional law are to, force the federal government to be the enforcement branch that they are, right? Congress passes laws. The executive branch enforces those laws. The only enforcement that the legislative branch have is the U.S. Marshals. That's guaranteed under the Constitution. So unless the states want to start sending federal marshals to do things, and their power of the purse would tell them how many marshals that they have, right? And then between blah, this and that and the other, there's some stuff, and yeah, that it gets more complicated. But the point being behind all this is no, yes, maybe. Do your own research. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me see if I understand this correctly.